Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. Today, we're joining you from an emergency room inside of the Lego universe where Brandon Olmsted is having his legs reattached. I mean, a real man would just put them on himself.
No way,
Brandon.
dude. Look, Joe, I hate to tell you this. Your research and host, Allan, is research on the money.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to get pampered.
He's going to, okay.
Oh, you're getting the new servos.
Oh, dude, they're pretty, too.
Oh, I'm jealous.
I don't know. I like to think that, you know. Okay. Anyway, welcome to Geek Tank Radio.
Joe, you
everybody.
can't even put on your pants by yourself. Why are you giving me grief about my legs?
Isn't that how they change their pants in this universe? I mean, this place is weird. The food is lousy, too.
It's all square.
Look,
Yeah.
everything
It's
is
nothing
awesome.
but a square meal.
So, welcome to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and a befuddled and speechless guest that we're going to introduce in a second. I thought you'd have something to say about this, Dan. Let's just say it. We got Dan the Lego Man in the house.
Yeah. How's it going? How's everybody doing today?
I wrote that one for you, Dan.
No
reaction?
It should have been a click or something like that. I should have said,
Yeah.
you got to click it back on.
He was like choking on a piece of Lego meat or something or whatever.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, the food here really does stink. But hey, Dan, you're in the house. Now, Dan is an institution around Cumulus here. You're affectionately known as Dan the Lego Man, but you handle the Tigers broadcast.
I do handle the Tigers broadcast for basketball and football. Yes,
You're a utility man around
I
here.
am.
And it marks the first time that anybody professional has been in the studio with us.
Wow. Pretty much.
this
So,
year.
yeah.
This year,
Because you were with us last year.
I was here. Yes, I was here last year.
Dan stays on
and
mic.
it's been that long.
Yeah, he usually brings us Legos. He didn't
I'm
bring any
sorry.
today. But, okay.
He brought donuts.
I did bring
Come on,
donuts.
Hey, and you got your son Wesley here. He's a professional observer today, right? He's
Yeah,
getting
he is.
some merit badge out of this.
Yes, he is. He is. He's getting a radio merit badge
I mean,
So-
they'll give
so-
away a badge for anything.
for
won't they?
anything.
All right,
Yeah.
so when did they institute the merit badge for tolerating dad jokes? Because that's what he's going to earn today.
That's true suffering. Yeah, that'll be a true test of your endurance. So, so Dan, in honor of that, this is interesting because not only are you an institution over here at Cumulus, also you actually work for Lego.
I work for Lego. That's my day job. I work in the marketing department, basically for the Lego company, making sure things are going well on the shelves out there in Target and Barnes & Noble, Walmart, stuff like that.
Okay, and so in honor of that, we have a very important date coming up, May the 4th, which
May the
they've
4th be
really
with you.
capitalized on
Yes,
that.
they have.
So you're going to give us the inside scoop on what to look for, where to line up, where to, we're going to talk Lego.
Yeah,
and
that'll
we'll
work.
probably have a heavy focus on that. Before we get to that, though, Brandon,
Yeah.
off the air, you and Dan were talking about this show Ghosted, which is on
Right.
Apple TV, and you were here's my just outside observation. I haven't signed up, but I plan on signing up.
Right.
But it seems like Apple TV has a little bit of a different vibe than maybe some of the. Am I right in
Right.
saying that, or because you guys
I
seem to
th-
really like their
But
content?
between things like Mythic Quest and Ghosted and Tetris, you have a very vintage feel to
You do.
television and movies. Something that we don't really get as much. One of the things, me and Allan went on about Tetris, a couple of weeks ago. But
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I'll say is, it doesn't spoon feed you like your basic binge shows.
It doesn't. It doesn't. The one that I'm actually really gearing up for on Apple TV is Silos. Silos, the great book that came out, about 10 years ago, and they're making a series out of it, and it's like everybody and their mama's starring in this show. Rebecca Ferguson is the lead in Silos. Sci-fi type of, a little bit of Matrix, a little bit of...
it looks pretty gritty, right?
Yeah, it
'cause
does.
I've
It's
seen the
very
trailer.
gritty and everything. That's coming out in, I think, early June, and it's supposed to be 10 episodes, and I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, and the thing is early reviews are already starting to roll in for the first 3 episodes, and it's getting raves.
It's getting raves, yes.
It's nice to see people doing some good content, And what about that show? Is it Tomorrowland or some? There's some weird show where it's like based in an alternate 1950s where you can go live on the moon or something.
Right.
I don't know if that the one I mean, right? The guy from Watchmen was in that.
Yeah.
That I don't know if that's out yet, but that one looked intriguing.
is.
I guess I'll say this: their stuff looks different. I mean,
and that's one of the great things about Apple TV is it is different. It's not the same I don't want to say garbage, but that's where my brain wants to go. It's not the same stuff that gets churned out every other week on Netflix or Amazon Prime or even Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You do get a good feel. Like me and Dan were talking about with Ghosted, it feels like one of those 80s, like adventure romance movies like you got back in the day with Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, stuff like that.
Well, and the best movie maybe this year coming out, it's going to be in theaters first, but then Apple TV, Killers of the Flower Moon by Martin Scorsese. I think it's going to be the best movie probably this year.
Really?
Leonardo DiCaprio. It's basically the formation of the FBI in the early 1920s.
Okay. I don't want to sidetrack. Martin Scorsese, he always loses me because he insists on putting these like horrifically violent graphic scenes that for me, like I'm kind of a wimp with that stuff, Dan. So like I'll watch it and then all of a sudden I can't get that thought out of my head. So it's like,
well, if you're in a Scorsese movie, you're going to get hit by a highball glass somewhere in the movie.
Get your head crushed by a vice or something. I mean, that's, but that's interesting. So maybe there's something different going on. My hope with the streaming wars was this was what we would get. They'd be competing for viewers. So they have to, you better put out content or you're not. I mean, because I don't feel like we've gotten that as much.
Unfortunately, like, Dan could probably tell us when it comes to marketing, people are like, well, people like this. Let's do that. Cheaper, but better.
Right.
And then you get a bunch of, like I said before, garbage.
You get what you get. Yeah. That's interesting. So, but Ghosted, you said,
much
it
fun.
looks fun. It just looks like a fun movie.
It's a
really
fun, good action popcorn movie. It is.
I mean, and you look at the cast, you got Chris Evans, you got Anya de Armas, you've got Adrian Brody, you got Tate Donovan, Amy Sedaris, Sebastian Stan, Howard Mackie. Basically, if they were in a Marvel movie, they might show up. Ryan Reynolds shows up in the movie.
So that's what they do. Yeah, they got a
But
whole
isn't that a zoning
ensemble
law now?
Yeah, well,
Ryan has got to do a walkthrough of almost everything.
Of everything, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's usually carrying like a phone or a mint plant or something with him these days.
Did they give us anything fresh in this movie? Because that's the trick. It could be formulaic, but did they give us any noteworthy?
How about
stuff?
good old fashioned chemistry on screen?
So much chemistry in that movie.
Yeah,
there we go.
Okay,
that is the one rave I've heard the most.
It's
everybody
it's just a
talking
good.
about.
It reminds me of a action movie that appeared in the early 2000s.
All right, cool. All right, well, Apple TV, you can send us that check for the. Hey, you're listening to Geek Tank Radio. We're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to get all the insights on what you need to know about May the 4th.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Mark Hamill still hasn't returned their phone calls. The Geek Patrol is back.
Are you still hounding him, Joe?
I set up a fake lemonade stand outside of his house, but it didn't really work.
I just keep hearing Mark Hamill say all day to me, can't be too careful with all those weirdos around.
So welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And in the house is Dan the Lego Man and his son Wesley, who's just by virtue of being here, is earning some sort of merit badge, which
the Osmosis Merit Badge.
Standards and Boy Scouts seem like they've gone downhill. Dan, I don't know, man. Okay, if you can get a badge for this,
I was gonna say,
is it for enduring the show? Or
That might be it.
Yeah.
an endurance test.
An endurance test, yes.
Okay. Hey, well, Dan, people around Cumulus know who you are. They've heard your voice. You're part of the Tigers broadcast, and you really, you drop in on basically every station around here from time to time.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. But we're here to talk Lego because, this is Geek Tank Radio.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Well, you're very well placed to give us some inside information.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And May the 4th is coming up.
May the 4th is coming up this week, so that's a big, important day for Star Wars fans, of course. Mm-hmm. And this summer, I don't know.
It wasn't until marketing just decided to build
What is this Star Wars thing?
Yeah.
Exactly. And also, this summer is actually the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi.
Nice. Yep.
So Lego actually is putting out a couple sets, so actually will be available on May the 1st. Hopefully they're not on shelves right now, but the cool ones actually, Emperor's Throne Room.
Oh, what does that look like?
I can show
The
you a
Emperor's
picture
Throne
right
Room.
here.
So it's the throne and then that window in the back.
And the window
it's
in the
even got
back.
steps and everything.
Exactly.
How many pieces is that? That looks pretty good.
It's a okay set. It's 807 pieces, and also there is a one with the speeders in the jungle. that's coming
wow.
out.
Okay, with the trees.
Yeah,
and
with
all
the
that
trees
stuff.
and everything. So
Is there an Ewok in that set?
there is an Ewok right there in one of the trees. Actually, you can
I
put
was
in.
going, I
So.
can't wait to see the Lego Ewoks.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah, so
There we
that's
go.
pretty interesting for this week coming out. And then there's also been a couple helmets that have come out here recently. If you've liked the helmets, they came out about 6 weeks ago. So there's 3 new ones out. One of them is the Princess Leia when she was actually as a bounty hunter at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. It
Boost
has that
helmet.
one.
Oh, it's like a full-size helmet.
It's a
made
full-size
of-
helmet. Yes, the Lego's actually made. I think it makes it 15 different Star Wars helmets that you can actually buy.
Oh, so wait.
Helmets are faces. There's Darth
I-
Maul. You can actually get stuff like that.
I do
gonna
have to
say.
ask you a question
Yes.
about those, because they're gorgeous. I've seen them put together,
Right.
and of course they come in this really nice, just matte black packaging.
Right.
What is it about any Target in the Mid-South that has a thumb hole somewhere?
Oh,
in
somewhere in there. I don't know. That drives me crazy. Trust me, on my side,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy because then I'm like, that has to be discounted, and I don't want it to be discounted. But
Right.
because
Because these are
somebody pokes a hole in it when they're.
these are
unpacked.
premium set pieces.
It's premium
and
sets.
They are gorgeous once
Right.
they've been put together.
yes.
Do people collect them and just not open the box?
There is some of them that will buy 2 and not open one. Yes.
I don't. Okay.
I don't
I'll never
understand. I've never
with
understood that
Legos.
I've never understood that about collectors anyways, because I know with just action figures, a lot of people do the same thing, and I've never understood that myself.
I keep all that cardboard and plastic from getting between me and my figures.
Right.
It's just gonna be a
Yeah.
fight.
I agree.
It never displays the right way. Hey, so everything you've named so far is from Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they're doing.
That's what
the
they're doing
emphasis?
this summer is Return of the Jedi, just because of the 40th anniversary coming out, and also
It's in theaters too.
Right now,
yes, and also too, Disney 100 is Disney celebrating 100th anniversaries. The minifigs. In fact, I was going to bring you some. I only had one left because my wife actually got into them a little bit. So
You got a weird household. over there,
exactly.
man.
So, but the minifigs coming out this year. For this quarter, basically, is all about a celebration of Disney 100. And instead of having 12 that you can collect, it's 18.
Wow.
So there's 18 different minifigs in those sets.
What kind of things are they?
Anything
I'm
from-
guessing it's Steamboat Willie, right?
Steamboat Willie's on there. Baymax is on there. Pocahontas.
So all eras.
It's all well. There is some villains. The villain from Aladdin is on there.
Jafar.
Oh,
Jafar. Yeah,
yeah.
Jafar's on there. So yeah, there is some villains in there too.
Okay, man, that's cool. So now, when you work there, do you get any inside? Do you get first crack at some of these? Or
Sometimes,
no?
yes. The Star Wars, no, because there's still just so much. They do not release them. Let me tell you what. There's still contraband rules on having it on shelves early.
I'm
You
sure
could still
there is, yeah.
the stores can still get fined up to like $10,000 still, and that just blows my mind. But
$10,000.
yes.
Holy smokes!
Yes.
So is it just they don't want leaks?
They don't want leaks. And the thing about it is with this leak for Star Wars, I mean, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary. I mean, come on. But I could see leaks for some of the movies sometimes, because we've got some new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 stuff that's came out in the past couple of weeks also.
Yeah. Oh, you do? I
Yes.
didn't know they had the Guardian stuff.
Got
so-
4 new sets from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah, I found it funny that one of the things that accidentally happened with a lot of the merchandising is occasionally merchandising gives away
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
a big factor
Be like,
plot
oh, it gives away a
aspect
plot
or
point.
character.
I didn't
Yeah.
know this character was going to be in this movie.
I had no
you know?
idea who the
Yes.
little blue guy is.
Right.
With,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's spoilers, right? Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought I thought Wakanda Forever gave a spoiler when they released some action figure or something like that.
Well,
So, yeah.
one of the things that they put out showed Shuri in her Black Panther costume, which they had not revealed that yet.
Oh yeah.
right, and that was part of with Lego too. We had her in the Black Panther outfit, and we had a contraband rule on it too that it could not be released until after that preview came out.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, boy, and then with the, everybody having a phone that they could post something all over the world instantaneously. It's a uphill battle.
I've been to the New York Toy Fair, and when you go into the New York Toy Fair, you have your phone. The first thing they do, they put tape on your camera where you cannot take
Wow.
pictures whatsoever.
Well,
Because
come on.
no,
somebody
I'm dead
could-
serious.
But
I am
I
dead
mean,
serious.
do people peel the tape back?
If they do, I guarantee you there's going to be some consequences.
Interesting.
You will not be able to go back to the toy fair.
Yeah, there are press-free zones.
Okay.
And if you were seen with your camera out, with your phone out, or anything like that, security comes in, they kind of grab you up by your bag and drag you out.
They sure will.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So, hey, so Dan, so May the 4th, man, we better get on it. So, what you mentioned it, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out, and we're all of mixed opinions about it. At least I am. So, we'll unpack that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Someone should throw their microphones into the fires of Mount Doom. The Geek Patrol is back.
We just get a bullhorn, Max. It's not going to work. So,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, welcome back to
Tennessee strong, bro.
Yeah,
Fourth
that's right.
Frodo.
Yeah. Welcome back to they throw weirder things into that fire. Welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass, and our special guest Dan the Lego Man, who a well-rounded geek. You know,
I guess, yes.
He
That's what it
didn't
seems like.
I got to give you credit, Max. That's probably one of my favorite rejoiners so far.
Well, I wrote that one. So,
I'm giving it to Max because he put it in.
He pushed the button, so
Right.
okay. Well, we do love our new rejoiners. I do anyway.
I like the fires at Mount Doom. They do great barbecue.
Hey, let's scoot over to Marvel. Apparently, Guardians of the
Other
Galaxy.
things that are being barbecued.
Guardians, not Gardens.
Guardians 3 came out.
No, it
Yawn.
hasn't.
I couldn't care less. Oh, it's
It has
coming
not.
out.
See, this is why you shouldn't be running a show, Joe.
I'm allowed to pick and choose. We give honest feedback here. If I don't like something, I'm honest about it.
But you should have known that it doesn't come out until next week.
Okay. Well, whatever. That shows how much I care about the Guardians franchise. But they lost me after the second movie. My contention is that they try to be funny at the wrong moments, and I don't think they're as smart as they think they are in terms of the writing, and something about them just irritates me. So
I think you just summed up everything James Gunn does.
I think he just showed.
I'm not a big James
I think he
Gunn
just
fan,
pretty
honestly,
much
so.
every Marvel film except for Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah.
They all make jokes at the wrong
I guess
time.
you're worried about what he's going to do with the DC now.
I am. Yeah. You know. So well, I mean, I don't know how much he's writing. Is he?
He's writing Superman and directing it.
Well, I don't care. Okay. Well,
That's right. Joe doesn't care anything about Superman. He doesn't.
I can't wait until
He doesn't fight for truth, justice, and the
Captain
American way.
Bat Underpants comes out.
No,
and
I'm
Joe
sorry.
goes ballistic.
I do like Superman. What I don't care about is Damian Wayne. Like I don't even think Damian.
And he's going to be
should
the
exist
main
as a character.
He's going to be the main focus in the new Batman movie. That's part of that.
right. So, but anyway, we're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. Where do you land on this stuff, Dan? I mean,
I do like Guardians of the Galaxy. I
Okay.
do. I think it's at the time when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 came out, the Marvel Universe needed some type of comic relief. Now, everything is comic relief.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of hard to, because like the last Thor was nothing but a comic movie.
I think what's hilarious is the way the reviews coming out for Guardians 3 though are basically saying that this is the most emotional Marvel film since Endgame. Because it's the end of their story,
Yes.
and it deals with the horrors Rocket went through, in becoming Rocket. And I think it's funny that, like you said, everything's become such a joke with Marvel.
It has.
That the idea of Guardians becoming the emotional center point, it's
180
like
degrees,
everything
maybe.
is completely
Yeah.
flipped.
Yeah, because you were saying, Dan, when we were talking off the air, you were saying, they really kind of need some kind of home run here.
They
it
do.
used to be
They do.
that people like us would line up for every movie they did, and we couldn't wait. Now we sort of, we're a little more
it seemed
guarded.
like each movie actually had a piece of a growing bigger arc. And the past 4 or 5 movies, there's not a piece to a growing arc. Because before this, who's the big bad right now? I know it's going to probably be Kang, but who is the big bad?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care about Kang. I've never understood his motivation anyway.
He's the conqueror.
Yeah, but why? Like, at least Thanos or Killmonger, you understand why they're doing what
Right.
they're doing.
Yeah.
And you almost can relate to it, but you're like, well,
Well,
you're
see,
too
and that's
over the top.
that's one of the
It's like-
missteps that Marvel made, is trying to give Thanos some sort of actual reasoning. His reasoning for destroying half the universe was because he was trying to impress Death because he was in love with her.
I guess.
I mean, he was the ultimate incel.
whatever it is,
there's
though.
no I guess. That is the actual story.
There's no guess. That is
the
true
actual
backstory
story. That is
of the
Death
OG
going, I'll get the
Infinity
Mad
Gauntlet
Titan
film.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He got manipulated by a woman.
We talked about it on the air because when Thanos, when Endgame and all that was coming up, I said, well, I'm not interested in Thanos, and because of what you said, I'm like, he's not an interesting character to me. When they put him out there, I'm like, okay, they changed my mind completely. I thought they did a great job with Endgame and with Infinity War. But
they really
I'm hoping
did.
I'll get surprised with Guardians. I mean, I'll go see it if it's like you say, Dan, if it's that emotional. But I don't know.
I mean,
man.
I'll be honest with you, Joe. I think you should take a step back from the Marvel theater for a while after the incidents you had with Quantumania. But that's not really a Marvel fault thing.
No, that's not their fault. But yeah.
But no, Dan, you're absolutely right. It's like, everything built up to Endgame, and then pretty much everything from it has been floundering.
It's been floundering. It's been just a one-off, and we were so used to phase 1, 2, and 3 giving us an overarching, for each movie, giving us a little overarching of the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture right now? I don't know. I really don't know.
My thought was they're always doing the big theme, I would say, is this multiverse stuff or alternate, and to me, the whole thing with that is probably because you have all these actors whose contracts are up and they have to recast everybody. Well, a simple way to recast it is to do the multiverse, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an interesting
Well, and
story.
also now MCU is actually, there's no Captain America, there's no Hulk. Does the common fan know some of the characters coming out now?
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, has there been a little bit of a brain drain from the MCU to Star Wars?
No.
I'm just asking because
two completely studios under Disney, this umbrella. The writers don't really cross over with one another.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, Happy keeps showing up over at the Star Wars camp.
Yeah, but he was, other than Iron Man 1 and 2, Favreau really hasn't had a whole lot to do with the writing on anything since then.
Well, just checking and asking because
no, you're right. I mean,
it just seemed odd to me that Star Wars really ramped up about the time the MCU kind of dropped.
Well, I think one is losing the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
I think losing the Russo brothers for the Marvel side is huge, absolutely huge. And if they're going to direct the next Batman movie, I'm all in.
Oh yeah,
I am all in.
I don't know. I watched episodes 1 and 2 of Citadel. I may have soured on the Russos.
Okay.
Nothing that action packed should be that boring.
I don't know. I recently rewatched Infinity War and Endgame, and apart from a few little small hokey spots, it actually really holds up. And there's still genuine emotion in those movies.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that's what's missing for me. I just don't much care about what happens in the latest Marvel
Well, I mean,
thing.
they churned out so much so fast, you just can't care about all of it.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try.
Hey, you guys, let's turn the corner. We didn't even tease this, but there was another trailer that came out, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's a Hunger Games prequel, and do they have an uphill battle, but we're going to talk about that when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. They slice their pizza with a Batarang. The Geek Patrol is back.
Or Batlift. Either one, you got to keep it sharp. But
Well, I always have trouble with the Batlip because the curve goes the wrong way.
it's good for deep crust. So,
And then it gets stuck in the table.
welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. This isn't the food dude though, so we better move it along. Alan will easily depart.
You want to talk about snakes and songbirds, and I'm sure Alan has cooked both of those.
Probably. So,
Yes.
I mean, it's a prequel to a thing called the Hunger Games.
that's true. Hunger, food. Anyway,
Bring it on, Joe. Try to stay out of food. Go ahead. Go for it.
I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And Dan the Lego Man, who's stuck around, and he's here with his professional observer, Wesley, his son from Boy Scout Troop number 27, who somehow earned a merit badge for sitting here and watching us be on the radio.
Can I get a merit badge for being on the show with Joe all the time?
And you get a merit badge.
And you get a merit badge.
I mean, I'll be honest, it'd be my only one. But
Okay.
no, dude, I think it's kind of awesome that he's showing any kind of interest in this kind of stuff because, well, it can be a family business.
I told him he probably doesn't need to be in this family business. Stay away from radio as far as possible.
How about Lego?
It's a dysfunctional family business.
Yes, it is.
But it's
Yes,
not like we're sitting around playing Monopoly.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's shift gears. So we're talking. A trailer came out. I'm going to tell you, it looked cool. It looked interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The premise of the Hunger Games is horrifying, but it is really interesting. And I mean, I think everybody knows what it is. So
I think the biggest problem here is something that you mentioned to me when the book came out: is how are you supposed to root for someone who's basically going to be their world's version of,
I mean,
like a
Hitler.
horrible dictator,
Right.
you know?
So, I mean, this is the prequel, and it's dealing with the early days of the Hunger Games. We're only into the 10th annual Hunger Games, which looks a lot more primitive. It looks less production value, but it's also it's a prequel showing us President Snow when he was, I don't know, if he's 20 years old or something. And we're supposed to be rooting for him in this movie, which, I mean, they did it with Anakin Skywalker, so why can't they do it here? I don't know. Just a very interesting challenge that they've got here.
Well, I know that I mentioned the Anakin Skywalker example off air, but I think I figured it out. Does President Snow ever have a redemption arc?
I don't know. I mean, are you familiar
in the
Hunger
original
Yes.
books.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the original books, I did not read them, and I didn't make it through Mockingjay.
The second book's the best for
Yeah.
sure. They
But-
petered out at
But
the
the
end.
question is did
no.
and I think that's one of the things why we could get behind Anakin's backstory as easily as we did, because we know that eventually Luke brings Vader back. Not that, I mean, I'm spoiling Return of the Jedi, but like Dan said earlier, it's the 40th anniversary.
It's 40th
this summer.
anniversary. Come on.
If you hadn't seen it yet, you ain't going to see it.
Exactly.
That, I left that little part. That's a very good point. Yeah, we know how it ends. So luckily, but I don't know. That's the question. Or maybe this isn't even going to be about rooting for him. It's more about seeing the early days.
Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the true crime murder podcast about President Snow.
It's like the Joker movie. It's like you can't really root for the Joker. You just kind of have to sit back and watch.
Yeah. Well, you can pity the Joker. Maybe that's what it'll be. I mean, are we going to pity
Pity a dictator.
I don't know. And, maybe it's a head fake too. Maybe we aren't going to root for him. And
I didn't.
But
read
they
the
sure
book.
make him look heroic in this trailer.
They
did.
do make him look
Yeah.
heroic, big time.
Well, you're going to have your typical story arc here of heroes living past their prime.
Mm-hmm.
There is a whole scope in politics
Of Caesar. I mean, it could be a story about like you're setting up the next Caesar, and that might be what it is.
Yeah.
The on the way up,
Mm-hmm.
you're amazing. When you get there, the world becomes different, and then the world changes.
Right.
And I think that's where you're going to be looking at this possibility, is that the young person who's in this universe is being shaped by this universe. Even though they fight against it, you still never escape it. So there's a lot of interesting tropes that you could explore with this and still wind up at the finale without messing up your storyline.
Okay, you just made me think of something, because in we were just talking about Endgame and everything, and Infinity War. Thanos is a rotten, horrible person, but from his point of view, he's actually a hero.
Right.
Well, if President Snow's point of view is, okay, from my point of view, we're going to sacrifice 26 kids a year to maintain the greater good, or some kind, maybe that's how he justifies it in his head. So he's actually, from that point of view, it might be interesting to follow. I don't know, but
even in any dragon movie, when they walk in and they go, "Oh, you've made a deal with a monster,"
right?
And it's that universe.
Yeah.
So this has already happened. He didn't create this, but he is a product of it. And we're going to get to see, how did we get to the 3 movies we got to? My only real criticism of any prequel is that I never get emotionally invested in the primary characters.
Yeah.
Because you can't threaten them. You can't convince me at any point in time over however many movies this is going to be that he's in any danger.
Well, and a possibility with this cast, you got Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage. So you got 2 great actors that we don't know anything about who they're playing.
I could care about them.
She looks very sinister, too.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
and
yeah.
Peter
Oh,
Dinklage looks like a sadistic kind of...
Exactly.
So it's Peter Dinklage on
Yeah,
the norm.
pretty much.
Right.
Well, I'm more interested in the world that they're building here.
And that might be what it is. We just
Yeah.
take a look at the world and see, and go back to it.
Right. So, I mean, and so the good thing for us, Brandon, it's November 17th. So it's the week after the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. Shameless plug. So we can sit back and relax. And,
I will probably still be recovering then, but yeah.
But, are you going to go see it, Dan?
Oh, yeah, I'll probably go see it, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like we said, the Hunger Games is a fascinating premise, even though horrifying. But but it has the makings of an interesting movie. I mean, I think it's going to be cool. So we'll follow that. We'll follow that progress with great interest. But you guys, man, it's almost time to get out of here. Dan, so May 4th, you said the hot sets.
The hot
what do we
sets
do?
coming out.
Line up at our big box store?
Big box stores, they'll have them, yes. Big box stores, Barnes & Noble, stuff like that. Also, Indiana Jones, we came out with 3 sets of Indiana Jones this past couple of weeks. Great. They're sold out everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, you can't get them, but check back with us and everything. They are awesome. The big boulder run and everything's on one of them. It's awesome.
Okay, that's awesome, man. So we'll be keeping we'll be keeping in touch with Dan about the latest Lego news. But you guys, it's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
I'm Dan O'Brien.
And I am Brandon Olmsted, reminding you it is okay if you ask for help putting yourself back together.